So, do you want to write a book? I'm going to give you some tools, tips, and techniques to write a book. Hi there, Emmett. Hi there, Jenny. And let me know that you can hear me and see me. I was having a little tech issue for a second there. Many of you know I've got a few best-selling books. Having It All was my first book. The Answer was my second New York Times best-selling book. Inner Size is my third best-selling book. And I've got my book, The Vision Board Kit, as well. But why do you think most people don't write a book? When they say to themselves, I want to write a book. I remember back in 2003, I was retired for a few years, and I wanted to share some of the stuff, the lessons that I learned, the successes, the failures, and everything in between them about my life, and I wanted to write a book. But there was a part of me that thought to myself, who the hell wants to hear my story? And so I was insecure about writing a book because I didn't do well in school. I failed English, I failed math, and here I was wanting to write a book. And my book initially, my first book was Having It All, which became a New York Times bestseller. I was so scared to share my story, and I didn't think anybody would buy it, even though people were asking me for advice on how to achieve some success in their lives. And I didn't think anybody would want to hear my story. Have you ever felt like nobody wants to hear your story? Right? Anybody want to share but maybe feel insecure with sharing their story? I felt insecure, so I asked two of my friends, and they weren't really good friends, but I asked two of my friends their advice about writing a book. And both of them said to me that everybody has a book in them, and everybody has stories of successes, but also failures. And my friend Brian Tracy, who many of you know, do you know Brian Tracy? Hey, F-Man, do you know Brian Tracy? He's written, 80, 90 books. I have something to give you of his in just a moment, but Brian Tracy said to me, he says, people will fall in love with you in the failures and sharing what you did more than they will in the successes of what you've achieved. So people will fall in love with, what went wrong? How did you feel? What did you do about it? How did you turn things around? How did you adapt? And yes, Success for My Soul. Eat That Frog is one of his 80 books. And then Jack Canfield, have you heard of Chicken Soup for the Soul? The book Chicken Soup for the Soul. Jack Canfield and I were in a mastermind group, he hadn't even written Chicken Soup for the Soul, but he wanted to come up with a way to share heartwarming stories about success and about failure. And he became one of the greatest authors of all time with so many Chicken Soup for the Souls. So that's a couple things. Hello there, Marco. Nice to see you on here. So, when we're talking about writing a book, have you ever wanted to write a book? Hi, Felicia. Jack's a good friend. Yeah, he's amazing. He initially told me when I wrote my first book, Having It All, I sent him the manuscript, and a day before I was going to print, he called me up. Actually, he didn't call me up. He sent me an email, and he said, John, the book sucks. I'm like, what? I'm going to print tomorrow. You know what he said? I don't care if you're going to print tomorrow. The book sucks. You need to add all of your stories that make your life your life. He said, don't just tell people, set goals. Here's how you plan goals. Here's how you achieve goals. Talk to them about what did you do when you failed. Talk to them, what did you do when you were embarrassed or ashamed or you were ridiculed or rejected. Tell them what you felt and what you did as a result of that and who it helped you become. So everybody has a book in them. And Brian Tracy's been a dear, dear friend of mine for many, many years. And do any of you follow Brian Tracy? Because he gave me something to give all of you that want to write a book and want some tips to organize a book, some exercises to improve your writing speed, and they work, and then a simple plan for getting your book into the hands of a publisher. My first book, Having It All, I initially self-published, and then I sold it to Simon & Schuster. My second book, I was paid over $1 million to write this book. Once this one became a New York Times bestseller, I was paid $1 million to write this one. And so then, it launched a bit of my career. And then many of you know I've got my newest best-selling book, Inner Size. But it all started off with me wanting to be an author. And it wasn't so much wanting to be an author. I just wanted to share. I love to share. I love to learn. I love to share what I've learned. If any of you are serious about writing a book, or you want to at least understand the process, I have a little gift for you from Mr. Brian Tracy. It's a 20-step author quick start guide. And I'll have my team put a link for you if you want to get this. And this particular manual, Brian has written over 80 books, and he's one of the best in the world at teaching it. It's got just an incredible list of how to have the right mindset, strategies of top-selling authors, how to write your first edit, second edit, third edit, some incredible advice from him. And he put this together. As many of you know, he's getting on in years, and he's trying to share his successes for writing books and for helping so many people achieve success. And he's been one of my dear friends, one of my mentors that I've always been able to go to ask him about the personal development arena. My team will put this link in the chat on Facebook where I'm on, and on Instagram where I'm on, and just pick up the guide. I mean, it's so good. I wish I had this, when I started writing books 18 years ago. This book, by the way, let me give you an idea of what a book can do for you. When I wrote this first book, it was called, hold on one second, just wait 1 second, I'm going to show you something. Hold on. This is the original first book that I wrote, The Street Kid's Guide to Having It All. And then when I sold it to Simon & Schuster, this was what this became, right? So I self-published this book initially. So this was my first go at it, right? Look at that. This is a classic, right? Not too many copies of this. Do you know why it's called The Street Kid's Guide to Having It All? Well, because I went to grade 11 high school, failed English, failed math, learned so much on the streets in the small little street gang that I was involved in. I called it The Street Kid's Guide to Having It All. And Simon & Schuster didn't think that would be a good idea, so they just went to let's do Having It All. So this is from 2003. But this book, okay, I decided to write it and overcome, the fears that I had. Then I created a course called Having It All. Then I created an event called Having It All. And then people wanted to start, following my work. Hey there, Joe Stump, buddy, how are you? And so, that was the beginning of me writing a book. I never thought of myself as a writer. I failed English. Who writes a book that fails English, right? So I ended up writing the book, and then people asked me to help explain the book a little bit more. They wanted to understand, how did you set your goals? How did you do your planning? How long did it take to achieve your goals? What did you do when you failed? What did you do when all hell broke loose? And so what I can share with you is, if you've had a life, you have a way to experience, life from your perspective, right? Well, people want to learn. And as I mentioned before, people love to hear the successes, but more than the successes, I can tell you, when people are searching for answers, they want to know that you understand what they're feeling. They want to know that either you've been there before, or you can relate to them right now. It's so easy for us to look at other people, that are achieving success, whether it's health or wealth or relationship or career or business, and see the success. But you know what? If we don't feel like the person that we are looking at with the success that they've achieved can relate to us and where, we are, then there isn't that resonance, all right? And so for everybody on Instagram, my team will put it up right in the chat, which they just did right now. So as I mentioned, Brian Tracy, my friend, put this together. He's written over 80 books. It's free for you. It's chock full of amazing tools, tips, and techniques to organize your book, to start writing your book. And he's been an amazing mentor to me and a dear friend to me. All right. So Kathy, you failed English as well. thank you. I'm fortunate. I've got, 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3 best-selling books. And it started off just because I wanted to share. So if you have something you want to share, it doesn't matter if it's a hobby you love, a life story you have, lessons that you have, techniques, tools, tips, resources. The reason we read books, the reason you're watching me right now, think about it this way. I could take exactly what I've shared just today and I could put it into a small little book that I self-publish. I could do a training on how did I start using video and get comfortable using video, right? So anything that you know how to do that's now easy for you or easier for you may be hard for somebody else. Maybe somebody else wants to know your perspective. So if you've lived life, which you have, it's worth sharing. Sharing of your life is a way of really, creating this community of other humans that are in this world together with us. And one of the mottos in my company and with all of our followers is we lift each other up as we climb. Right? So we lift each other up as we climb. So Haley, if you don't have Facebook, there's a link in the chat, all right, that my team has put up, and they might even put it into my LinkedIn bio. So what's one of your greatest life lessons? Why don't you share it here right now? What's one of your greatest, life lessons, right? What is one of your greatest life lessons? I can tell you my greatest life lessons are not the successes I've achieved. My greatest life lessons are the major obstacles I have overcome. Like when I was 23 years old, I had just come back from traveling around the world. I'd made some money in real estate, went and traveled around the world. And when I came back, I was working so hard to make money, I ended up with severe ulcers in my colon. Now, the ulcers in my colon were bleeding. It caused inflammation in my colon, so there wasn't a lot of room for anything to go through. And I lost all bowel control capabilities that I could control, which means that I would shit all over the place. In bed, in the car, in meetings, at restaurants. If I couldn't run to go to the bathroom fast enough, I would shit my pants. And you want to talk about being embarrassed? You want to talk about, wanting to protect yourself? For 2 years, I took 25 silazapyrin pills a day, which is anti-inflammatory pills. I had to do a cortisone enema in the morning and at night to reduce the inflammation. And then once a month, I used to go to the hospital for them to insert a tube into my where to look inside to see how bad the colitis was. And you know what? I listened to this one TV show that talked about neuroimmunology, the mind-body connection. And I realized that there was this mind-body connection because I started to learn about it. And I started to meditate, to visualize. I started to eat better. I started to exercise more. And in 5 weeks, after 2 years of suffering, in 5 weeks, all of my colitis was gone. And so I realized, wow, there's a combination of stress and genetic predisposition that was causing this to happen, but I had more control than I knew I had. And at 25, I got rid of my colitis. And so I started to study the brain to understand how powerful is this biocomputer of ours. That's just one of my stories that helped me get on the path to understanding that I am more than my dis-ease. I put myself in a state of at ease, and then I followed a process that I just did research on. And then for the last, 35 years, I've been teaching some of the stuff I've learned. So it put me on the path, right, of learning about my brain. Well, I put that in my first book, and people go, oh my God, you were so honest about it. I said, well, that's because it's true. That's what happens. Hey, Isma, can you stop doing that? Or I'm going to have to remove you. It's not cool that you're doing that on my Instagram feed. All right? So the idea for you is whatever life experience you have, you can share with others if there's a way to enhance their lives. Does that make sense? And for those of you that just joined, I've been talking about my own experience in writing books, but specifically one of my friends, Brian Tracy, who's written 80 books, okay, has got this 20-step author quick start guide, and my team will put a link for you if you want to get it. It's free and it's chock full of tips and tools. Brian has spoken to over 5 million people all over the world, and he is brilliant. And so he is getting on in his years. He has been one of my friends and mentors, somebody that's helped me understanding the book business and the personal development business. And Brian and I have this wonderful friendship where when I call him up, Brian says, if I say, hey, Brian, can you help me with something? He goes, John, for you, the answer is always yes. That's the kind of relationship I have with Brian. That's the kind of person that he is. And so I know that he loves to help people. He's been one of the legends in the personal development field. And so if you want to learn from one of the legends, his 20-step author quick start guide is something you can get for free, and I'll kickstart your idea. I want you to set aside your thoughts or beliefs that you can't write a book. Trust me, if I can write a book and I can have help with editing, which is easy, you can write a book. I sat down and wrote this back in 2002, and when Jack Canfield shared to me it was shitty, I then had somebody come and help me by interviewing me, all right, and then taking some of the best parts of the interview and then put it in the book, and I had somebody help me edit it. And that's how I wrote my first New York Times best-selling book. I never thought I'd get into the personal development space. Never in a million years did I think I'm going to be somebody that teaches and guides and helps people. I had no intention of that whatsoever. But when this first book came out and became a New York Times bestseller, I was like, wow, people like what I'm sharing. I was like, whew, I was blown away. So just know that there's something within you that another human being or 2 or 10 or 100 or 1,000,000 can benefit from. And if there's a book in your heart and in your mind, bring it out. Because you can self-publish, you can market it online, or you can get it published by a publisher, whether you're in India or Europe or United States or Canada, it doesn't matter. Your life is worth sharing with others. And your story is worth sharing with others. And your how-to is worth sharing with others. All right, so anyway, I thought I'd just come on here, share with you a little bit of my journey in becoming an author. And if you want that guide, my team will put a link on there for you. It's from Brian Tracy, a good buddy of mine. And I just thought I'd come on here this morning and say hello. I hope you have a great Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I hope that you're trading your life for what you love, and don't ever ask yourself whether the goal that you have is worthy of your life. Ask yourself whether the goals you have, or actually ask yourself not whether you are worthy of the goals you have, ask yourself whether the goals that you want to achieve, is your life worth trading it for, right? Is your life worth trading for? And Vishnoy, you're asking about the movie The Secret. Well, Rhonda Byrne, who wrote The Secret, read this book, Having It All. And in this book, I talk about my vision board story. And in the vision board story, she really wanted to showcase the law of attraction, how I wrote or I created a vision board for all of my goals, and how every day I used to look at my vision board and close my eyes and feel as if all those things that were just on a board were real. And I ended up buying my dream home, as many of you know if you saw the movie The Secret. And it was because I wrote about it in this book that she found it. So I never had any intention of being in the movie The Secret. And since The Secret's come out, I've been invited into 9 other movies. So where did it all start? I wrote a book. I overcame the insecurities of not being smart enough, the insecurities of not knowing how to write, the insecurities of nobody would want to read anything that I have to share. And I took a chance on me. And that's where it began. And then that led to The Answer, which I mentioned. I got paid $1 million to write this book, which then led to me writing Inner Size, The New Science to Unlock Your Brain's Hidden Power, which also led to my vision board kit. And I've got a new book that I am starting right now, and that should come out by the September to the end of the year this year. I'm writing a gift for myself for my 60th birthday in September. And the book is called The Second Half, How to Make the Second Half of Your Life the Best Half of Your Life, right? So that's a little bit of the journey I'm on, and I'll share a lot of stuff of what I did, in this new book from the age of 48 to now, to get into the best spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical shape of my life. And so that's what I'm going to do. So if you want to learn how to write a book, 20-step author, quick start guide by Brian Tracy. Pick it up. You can have that today for free. And that's it. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Did you enjoy this? And by the way, have you read any of my books? Did you enjoy this? And have you read any of my books? And if you have, which one? Let me know which one. All right, which one? F-Man, you've got Inner Size. Got it. Lovely. Do you like the title, The Second Half? And again, I think once we're on the back nine of our life, the second half, things change, right? Things change. For those of you over 45, you know what I'm talking about, right? So for those of you that are over 45, Noordine, The Answer. Andrea, you read The Answer. Awesome. Speak Valley, you love it. You've read Inner Size, The Answer, and Inner Size. Emmett, great. Emmett, you just got Inner Size. I know that. How are you enjoying it? I responded to your comment earlier. Inner Size, you've read. Awesome. Lisa, you've read Inner Size and The Answer. Jasuli, thank you for having it all again. This wasn't about getting you to get any of my books. Francine, hi Francine, reading The Answer. Hope you're enjoying it, Francine. Thank you, F-Man. I feel great. That's the most important. I'm glad you like my YouTube content. Thank you so much. All right, you're on the back nine too, Dan. Well, let's make the back nine the best nine, right? Life is short. Listen, I don't know whether you agree with this or not, but we've got to pack as many amazing experiences, in our lives, so that we feel like the journey was worthy, right? That the journey was worthwhile. Hi, Bianca. I'm glad you've got having it all. And I want to make sure that my life has got purpose and meaning, so that when I die, hopefully I can take my last breath going, yeah, what a journey, right? And so if I can learn and love and share and give and receive and help as many people and animals and species on the planet while I'm here, yeah, that for me is the bomb. I want to trade my life for what I love, and I love helping people and contributing. So I hope that in some way my work, my play, my research has helped you, inspire you, motivate you, show you a path to make your life a little bit faster, or a little bit easier, a little bit less stressful, a little bit more joyous and fun. And with that, I wish you an awesome weekend. And I'll see you next week. Every Tuesday, I do my Achieve Even More 30-minute show on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and a few other places. So join me on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 o'clock New York, and I think that's 5 o'clock London right now, before the time changes on Sunday. All right? Bye. And again, pick this up if you want to write a book, you want to learn how to write a book. All right? 20-step author, quick start guide, Brian Tracy. He's written 80 books. He's helped me tremendously, and so I'm returning the love from him to me, and told him I'd share this with you. All right? Arrivederci. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you. All right. And my team will put the links in the Instagram.